Nerderotic.com.
Boring.
Yeah, let's
Nothing happened.
get it out of the way because there is a DC thing that came out this week that's
Pretty cool.
amazing.
Yeah.
Absolutely amazing. Everything DC should be, everything Batman should be. I highly recommend you watch it. We'll get to it, but first let's get the bat over with quick because I mean, honestly, I don't know how we're going to be able to talk about this every week unless they have a scene where they ask, "How's your white man?"
This Lanterns episode was very, wanted us to make sure that we knew about white privilege and all that stuff in this episode. Yep.
Colonizing.
Colonize all
Motherfucker,
that.
yeah, some random redneck from Texas talking about colonizing. Like, what the fuck are we doing, dude? Like,
They're caught flat-footed. That's not we're gonna get
we
colonized.
already know how the people that were here before lost everything. So we got to make sure,
Caught flat-footed as opposed to what, though? Another 500 years of technological innovation. How much time did they really want to prepare for the event?
Right.
Honestly, what are they worried about with colonization? They're worried about better roads and infrastructure. I mean,
running water, two-story buildings, the wheel. Hey,
It's the fire medicine, more prevalent food production. The list goes on and on.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's a drab series, and it's very much like Watchmen. I see a lot of similarities to Watchmen.
Oh yeah, I see
and
that too.
particularly after after episode 2, and I think it's just going to get worse as it goes on. There's a clip out there right now because basically Jon Stewart's going to be the chosen one.
He's going to get the magic egg.
Yes,
it sucks because when he actually gets the fucking costume on and you get the little scene of him flying up there and, the idea of a series with a proper older Hal Jordan who actually likes wearing the suit and still respects the oath and all of this shit, how we should see Hal Jordan. The idea of that with the actor, it's like, man, I almost wish you wouldn't even done this little bit because you just showed us that it could have actually looked okay. Do you know what I mean? I do also think they changed the color of the green from what we saw in the trailer to this series.
There's definitely color grading change there. Like, yeah, it's not as brown.
It was like olive green in the trailers, and then there was massive backlash, and now it's a more normal color of green.
Mm-hmm. I mean, aside from all the sweat stains, all the sweat stains on the collar, and it being all scuffed, right? But yeah, the entire episode is let's get Jon Stewart out of town so we can and have the ring be. The ring loses its charge, so Hal Jordan sends him away so he can confront everybody by himself with no powers.
But he was able to conjure up a bird and keep it focused, even when he was knocked out multiple times. He could do some impossible thing.
We're gonna find out what that bird is, Garrett.
Yeah,
because we are. That bird is the Guardians.
Well, they're inside Jon Stewart.
Yeah.
Somehow.
The real lanterns were inside the black guy the entire time.
Wow. Even in that story, though, they managed to humiliate Hal because whenever he was handling the suit, it was all with, this is really important, I'm going to take it down very gently. And he even said, I'm not going to disrespect it, as opposed to essentially what you've been doing all this time. It was really weird, though. This guy's got a house out of nowhere with no money. He's broke, but he can afford the upkeep on essentially a mansion. I don't know what
taxes
going
alone.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. They explain it like I saved some rich guy and he gave me this house.
Yeah.
But yeah, the taxes on the land, on the house. Like
maybe the rich guy's paying for all that too. Maybe he's paying for the yard looked nice.
That's the
oh yeah, that gardening and mowing, that was all
costs a lot to feed the fucking pet. There's a lot of meat.
Yeah.
Jon Stewart didn't like handling that much meat.
Dude. In fact, I was like, I hope they didn't say it, and they did. He's like, I don't like normally walking around with this. You're like, oh God.
This is the kind of show that everybody part of the Access media apparatus that's glazing it now. 6 months after it's gone, you're going to see people on Twitter being like, hey, Lanterns wasn't actually that good. And then everybody's just going to say, oh my gosh, yeah, it wasn't actually that good. Because there's no way that this sustains after this ends. We're going to go into episode 3. Are things going to be resolved with Sinestro? I doubt it. Like the whole Sinestro setup, that's probably going to be a bridge into episode 4 because this is going to be a big. This is a flashback inside of a flashback with episode 3, so we could find out about the bird.
Well, it's that's kind of the way they've structured it, and intentionally so, right? Where like everything that's happening, who knows what the context is going to be by the time we get to episode 8, because we're now across 4 decades of time or 3 decades of time with multiple storylines that all in theory should get resolved in the final episode that could change all the contextual meaning behind all the stuff we're seeing. So like that kind of mystery box stuff is going to keep some people engaged. I think that there's probably a decent amount of people who just normally watch whatever's on HBO on Sunday nights, whatever they have going on. I think there's a lot of that audience that is just tuning in and seeing if they're going to continue watching this show or not. Obviously, over half of the audience that watched House of the Dragon finale did not tune in the next week to watch the show.
No, they did not. It was less than half. And I could buy the normie watching this if the mystery was good and the acting was all right, but the mystery's not very good. It's just a bunch of variables splattered on a wall that you're just basically following while adding to it. Like with True Detective, that is a good mystery that engages you within the first 10 minutes.
Yeah.
Right. And right now, you're in the second episode, you're all in 2016. So you're entirely in 2016. So Hal dies and then you see him alive and he's like, I'm going to train you how to fly now. And everything is based on how much does Hal know? How much does the audience know? See, we're the ones the most in the dark. And Hal's the second, the one who's second most in the dark. But everybody in that town knows what's going on. Everybody in that town knows what's going on. And Jon Stewart is holding back what he knows that this, the chosen one thing from Hal. And that's how you structure the mystery box. The mystery box gives you big elements, doesn't answer the questions, and it's a shortcut. And once you figure out it's a storytelling shortcut, because there are mysteries and then there's mystery box. For example, you just brought up repeating stuff over and over again for secondary viewing. Ryan, you've read a lot of Harry Potter. I've read a lot of Harry Potter. Harry goes out, figures out mystery, runs back and tells Ron and Hermione. Does J.K. Rowling have him just blather it all in the book? No, it's just a quick sentence and then Harry fills them in, move on. And that's all you need to do. So they're padding it for time because the actual mystery usually ends up being the box is empty. We talk about it all the time. The box is empty. I believe Hal will be dead at the end. I believe he will be very dead at the end, but it's just the manner of his death. He'll probably go out pretty heroic. Who knows? It'll be to protect the manhunters who were persecuted and can be an immigration allegory. Who knows?
It's going to be fucking Jake Skywalker from Last Jedi. Like that's what this is. They're showing you a beaten down, washed up, broken Hal Jordan who's like not the same guy. Like all that stuff. He's lost his way. He doesn't care about this or that anymore, whatever. Right. And then in some act of heroism, it's not going to be force projecting himself to confront his nephew, blah, 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 but something he does at the very end because Jon Stewart awakened in him what he was supposed to be doing the whole time. He'll be inspired by Rey. He'll be inspired by Jon Stewart, right?
Yep.
So actually fucking dig deep down and remember who he is before he sacrifices himself. And just like that movie, that didn't make us forget what you showed Luke Skywalker as. That doesn't make us forget the fact that you showed this dude who shouldn't have been portrayed that way. And I think that's probably what we're going to see at the end of this with Hal.
They've admitted all they have is mystery. Chris Mundy, one of the Hollywood Reporter, and we were talking about, we don't have a primary antagonist. There's no big bad. So it's really just the mysteries that will keep it. So it's basically saying it's a mystery box.
On top of the mysteries,
very comic book of them to not have a bad guy in it.
I thought they picked the worst versions of the. That's their dirty little trick. They go, it's comic accurate.
What great writers to not have a fucking antagonist in their story. That's awesome.
Well, the antagonist is usually the system.
Yeah.
The antagonist is now the system or circumstances
or society. So far, it seems to be the white man.
Oh,
so far, the audience that's the only one they've been talking about.
Yes. Also, like the antagonist is almost like hell. So I think it won't just be him doing something heroic. I think it will be him coming to terms with the fact that John should replace him. That that's his heroism to get out of the way.
That's his heroism in their eyes, Disparu. I mean, it won't be in ours, but
Yeah, but rather than like a heroic sacrifice to
aside.
protect something, it will be, no, this is like all part of life. John's been telling me the entire series he should replace me. I don't want to go, but now it's my time. And then he just sacrificed himself that way. So it won't be the heroic to protect other people. It will be just to step aside.
Yep. And like, I would be shocked if that doesn't happen in a Damon Lindelof, Tom King joint. Like that would just shock, because that's pretty much what they write all the fucking time.
Yeah.
So it's clearly a template. Like it is a template. I am absolutely sure anytime Damon Lindelof sits down to write any TV show, he has a template that he has written down, says introduce 5, X number of mysteries in the first episode, drop in a racial comment from some character. It could be ambiguous, but it's enough to get people mad. So they'll talk about the fucking show. And then in the second episode, answer none of the questions. Introduce more questions. 5 episodes down the line, maybe answer one question, drop half the other questions that were brought up, and then,
well,
in the end is
I don't think he's gone so far. Like, why not feel that way, Garrett? Because it worked for him with Lost for years, man. That thing, a lot of people watch Lost, and hey, the smoke man, what was the smoke monster again?
Smoke monster.
It was a man in black who fucking fell in, was thrown into the.
I don't think that was ever explained.
The polar bear.
No, it wasn't explained.
They admit that the polar bear was, they had to drag out the episodes, and so they got into a point where they just like throw anything on the screen that's weird, and the polar bear was the strangest thing they could think to be on a tropic island, and it was never part of the story ever again.
Yes. So this is this guy's MO. He has a little handbook and he goes, this is how I'm going to fit whatever genre I'm hired on to do into this. And it's enough to get enough people going, ooh, it's a mystery. We're going to find out by the end of that show. And it never happened.
There are 2 things that this show is failing at dramatically on that front, because to get a good mystery, right, you need 2 things. One, you need the mystery to make sense. It needs to be satisfying when the explanation comes, not forced, not something stupid that anyone could have figured out. And a lot of this stuff is like really incredibly basic, bare bones, because they actually answered one of the mysteries in this last episode as to who murdered, why were those aliens there? That's answered. Wasn't that deep?
And it was a passing line of dialogue too.
Yeah. And they just decided to give it. The characters didn't do anything to earn it. Like Jon Stewart just got kidnapped, and they told him no actual effort on the primary characters to figure that out. And the next most important thing you need for a mystery is characters to care about. Otherwise, you don't give a crap about what the answer is.
Yeah. Yes.
And the characters suck in this. They make Jon Stewart just an asshole. And Hal Jordan, they're constantly like dumping on him. Every other character knows more than him, it seems like, and he's constantly made out to be an idiot. And especially like when he's trying to get John to learn how to fly on a depleted ring, that when he flies, it runs out and he almost kills. So was he trying to kill Jon Stewart in that scene? Like, it's just
that moment
stupid.
Well, that first of all, you have to also not be mentally retarded, and David Lindelof definitely
really is.
But like that moment is one of the few little things where you go, that could have been an entertaining moment between the 2 of them. Like, he's like, I'm a pilot. This comes natural to me. And you go, oh, he has strengths that John won't have. That's cool. And their answer to that was a fucking bird. That they're gonna do it.
Well, there's a reason for that.
There's a reason.
Yeah, but they're gonna explain the entire fucking bird reason to everyone in the next fucking episode, which they could have left. They could have been like,
Mike, sorry to interrupt. That clip, just the exposition in that clip, the one they showed.
I almost punched my monitor, dude. I couldn't fucking believe it.
It's crazy. It's like, hey, you want to know why we treat you differently, son? You want to know why I shoot apples off your head, son? It's because when you was a baby, son, the Guardians came down here and they told us, you're going to be a Green Lantern. We have to prepare you. The birds are going to watch over you. And
well,
report back to them. That's why you like birds so much,
That's
son.
why you like birds, son. I legitimately had to check multiple times that was actually James Gunn. I thought it was a parody. I was like, this has got to be AI. There's no fucking
way. You're going to say something, Badger?
Yeah, this is the worst property to pick and do grounded, gritty, and realistic, at least as they're doing it. Like, take the source material serious, sure, but you got to show the powers. You got to show how cosmic. They should be in their costumes. It should be Sinestro and Hal. It should be all these different things, and they just seem embarrassed. Now, I know the real reason is I understand it. It was always going to be a Lantern show. that before even Gunn took over, this was supposed to be Mark Guggenheim and Greg Berlanti. Yeah. And they told them, no, go low on your budget. Grounded, gritty, true detective. But this just doesn't every single time they could have shown us something, like shown Hal reveal himself to the world and stop the meteor, or in the second one, shown what John was being shown. They just tell us.
Do you see how it feels?
Yes.
Yeah,
because it drags out the mystery, though.
You could have done a question show if you wanted a detective, grounded, gritty, not cosmic space cops.
The telling and not showing allows them to drag the mystery box even longer, because now we get to we go week to week of wondering, well, what was in like the mind gun imprint that the not Atrocitus Timu Atrocitus was using on Jon Stewart, right? So now we get to talk like, what was it? And what's really funny there is you have, here's this group of aliens that all look human and they're hunting the Manhunter. The Manhunter committed a Holocaust. By the way, if you don't catch the Manhunter, we're going to do a Holocaust.
Yeah.
What?
Makes sense.
Bad. We're going to genocide Nebraska if you don't catch the Manhunter, Jon Stewart. How does this make sense?
It's written by such stupid, like...
Chad brought up a good point about like the characters, and I think one of the reasons that Lost worked so well, yes, it did have like a mystery that was keeping everybody going season to season to season as it like slowly unfolded and got crazier and more insane and all that stuff. But the reason that people stayed invested in that is because of Jack and Kate and Sawyer and all these other different casts and crew of characters that people actually did care about, and their interactions with each other and little betrayals here and there and stuff. And when you have 23, 24 episodes in a season, 45 minutes to delve into those things and do little mystery things here or there, like old style television like that, it could work. In this, when you have a main character in Kyle Chandler's Hal Jordan, who actually is the most charismatic of the entire cast, and it's not even close. Not even close with his character. Aaron Pierre, who I think is giving a fine performance on what he's being asked to do, but is kind of just a nothing burger of a character at this point. And then just a bunch of people that you really dislike. It's a lot different feeling than watching something like Lost.
Yeah, and if you're trying to make it like True Detective, Matthew McConaughey was a troubled character, but you instantly liked him. Like there's something that was endearing about him.
Well, and you also really quickly in that show establish who these two characters are as people. And a lot of writers now think character work is you don't tell anybody about who the character is and reveal it over time. That's not how character work is. You need to establish something about this person that you can attach to, and then you watch them grow as a character down the line. But yeah, Jon Stewart has like
really effing good at it.
That's the thing that really sucks, because Kyle Chandler could be such a great Hal Jordan.
Yeah, I love
like the act. It's like we have good actors just saying dumb shit. Like the script is so stupid.
The dialogue is ass.
Okay,
it's awful.
One specific scene I know it's been talked about, but not here. So is when Hal Jordan sends off Jon Stewart. Apparently, the entire town, which I mean, it's this is why they're aliens, because they were all in the town meeting, even all the cops in the police station,
and the hospital's empty.
Oh, the hospital! They couldn't make it more obvious.
So Hal Jordan's able to go and steal 4 dead bodies to go in the middle of the day to the football field to the metal detectors, which were apparently just left on. And there's they show a little keypad, which is how you turn them on and off. And he brings in he's got 4 dead bodies. We saw some schlongs, gotta
put the dicks in there.
Yeah, we got the dicks out. And he wanted to figure out, first to make sure if the metal detector was on. So he pulls out his car jack, which was enough. That was absolutely enough. Then he takes off his fucking front grill of his Toyota. And I'm like, what are you doing? You already have a piece of metal and you're taking off a piece of plastic. That will probably not
defending it. Is that they're basically saying that he was testing like different materials. It's like, that's bullshit. It's a fucking metal detector.
Why would you need to detect plastic? And I know because I sold these things for years.
Exactly.
Okay.
Yeah, and also
modern bumpers.
There's like a lot of other plastics that you can use besides a fucking grill on a car.
Well, and metal detectors aren't going to pick up on every bit of metal. Like they miss a bunch of shit. Trust me. Yeah. So then he brings the bodies through, and he brings all 4 through, and it sets off the detector. And then he drives around with the 4 bodies in the car. This is the only time I laughed in the series was when he got pulled over and he's got 4 dead bodies in the car.
Yeah.
And then it becomes really clear that Sheriff Girlboss, who her last name is Kane. So
Kane.
so she might be a relation of Batwoman, and she came from Gotham.
She's from Gotham.
Yeah, it's spelled differently though.
To add to that scene was really funny because the whole entire scene, the whole reason he was bringing these bodies here is to find the alien detector. So there's a little alien detector device, and he goes beep 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 beep. There's an alien, basically, and he takes it. He gets pulled over by the cop, and she pulls him over, and she basically then just says what it is, like goes, "You just found an alien detector," you know, like,
and I know what's going on. He's like, "You've been holding out on me," like, no shit.
The confidence in the audience is at an all-time low because like,
no, and this is from HBO, Garrett. Like that HBO usually doesn't do secondary viewing. Like HBO is actually above this, except when they hired Damon Lindelof.
She dropped more in that scene as well, though, because she said that's why I wasn't after the other guy, because he didn't set off the alien detector. So whether it's for different species or anything else, but that's, again, another drop line, which is just a mystery.
The whole town may not be aliens, but they're clearly in on the cover and protection.
Or they only scan for certain types
Manhunters, robots.
Yeah, they're fucking one crossover. And this is the problem when they say it's comic accurate. They never choose, like, when we say comic accurate, like comic accurate, Batman doesn't kill. But there's early comics where he kills and has a gun. But we all know that we mean the most commonly established lore over the longest period. Mm-hmm. So there's like 20 years of Lanterns lore from Jeff Johns and like everything post Final Crisis that they're taking a lot of. But then when they get to the Manhunters, which should just be a robot race that were working for the Guardians before they went insane, killed everyone in a certain sector. Now they just take one little crossover from 1987 where they made human versions to infiltrate and they call them shapeshift. But that's also not shapeshifting. That's just fucking having robot bodies that look human.
Because I think what they do is they write whatever the fuck they want to write.
No.
Then they go find reasons to try and justify it.
A lot of changes. Not the Jon Stewart thing happened in, I think I was in prison. So 93. About being the chosen one. But a lot of other stuff is like post 2018, which is just the worst era of comics. And they especially DC, they retroactively change shit all the fucking time, like all the time. So
I like some rebirth shit.
Yeah. And Lanterns didn't reboot. That kept going through the whole new, because it was good. So they didn't change it. And a lot of, like, I'm fairly sure they're going to do also what that did, and that John just won't even need a ring. Would it shock you to think that the battery was in him the whole time?
He's going to be
because he's done it, but there's been reasons for it, right? Like he absorbed a cosmic force or some shit. And there was a reason why he was able to do that. They're just going to say it was there the whole time.
I'm ready for Simon Baz Green Lantern, Gary.
Yes.
Let's go.
Dude.
Okay, so after dead bodies get found, and it's pretty clear that everybody knows what's going on except for Hal. And then Jon Stewart gets taken, and then the exposition gun is put in his head, and we don't get to see anything. So there is a manhunter basically in Rushville, Nebraska, and they have 48 hours to find it before this mysterious organization that a lot of people think is Red Lanterns it will blow up Nebraska. I mean, there's like, it depends on where you blow up Nebraska. You might not do any damage to any, like you might not hurt anybody. There's a lot of open space out there. But the thing is, now everybody thinks the manhunter is grandma. Is the grandma?
But, I mean, it would make sense. Yeah, literally hunting a man in the bar when we first met her. So
yep.
But I think there's a chance there's a fuck ton of manhunters.
Yeah, I think
like that's kind of what I think.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And Red
if it does turn out to be like just one, and it is grandma, what are the fucking coincidence of him walking in and then fucking the one manhunter there? That's.
But it makes sense where they said there's no main villain, because this is going to be another, like, well, the Manhunters aren't all bad, and the Atrocitus, the Red Lanterns, like, okay, they did wipe out all of Sector 666 and kill all of Atrocitus' family and all the things. So, like, there will be no main battle. It'll be a certain point of view.
Well, the Guardians, who
it was a very calm Atrocitus. If that guy was Atrocitus in disguise,
terrible.
Pretty calm Atrocitus.
Yeah.
He's started meditating and went to therapy. Okay. He's done a lot of work, Ryan. Jeez.
I haven't yet.
Don't bother. don't bother.
Never change.
Do the workshop.
Yeah.
We're also going to talk about that dialogue between Grandma and John.
That's what we're getting. So real quick though, I think the whole town is manhunters. That's what I think. And I think she might be the matriarch of the manhunters, knowing Damon Lindelof, her being the boss of the manhunters. Now, I still think there might be another organization hiding them, and maybe the fucking NDAs. And I guess there's NDAs in space. So, and who knows if that's the Guardians or something else. Don't know.
Do you think like maybe he's working for Lex, and Lex is the one that's giving him all this money?
Somebody mentioned it could be Lex.
I think there'll be no connection whatsoever. And if you never watch Lanterns, it won't matter, except for the fact that Man of Tomorrow, Jon Stewart will probably show up with his own power. Unless Jack Gardner's going to die.
Well, keep in mind, if you don't watch Peacemaker, you will miss that Lex got out of prison in Peacemaker.
Did cocaine with Sidney Happerson. And
Well, no, but didn't James Gunn say that this ties in strongly to Peacemaker at the end of
He said that everything is connected.
He also said The Flash is one of the best movies ever made. So
he also
I
like
genuinely think
anything I think that was
seriously.
ever going to happen. But if you don't watch Peacemaker, you won't know that Lex got out of jail. You'll just be like, oh, he's here. Okay.
Well, most people will probably forget, to be honest with you. They'll just go.
He's probably banking on that. Yeah.
But I mean, this is where Jon Stewart's getting introduced, and he is in Man of Tomorrow.
Yeah.
So like, regardless of how much the rest of the show you need, your introduction to this character is going to be in this show, which, considering Superman and how I feel like they definitely tried to gear it towards maybe a slightly younger audience in a lot of ways, man, all these fucking tie-ins, kids cannot watch them. Kids cannot watch Peacemaker.
How many F words were in episode 1, Garrett?
There were 33.
33.
Which I don't care about. I mean,
I know.
And there's dongs in this one, and
it's
like
mainly the
there's
wieners,
6 F words,
the floppy wieners everywhere in every fucking show that has James Gunn's hands on it. He's like, hey,
Mike's like, if you're gonna put dicks in there, at least make them hard.
Make them hard. Yeah. What are we doing?
I'm sick of these floppy dicks.
Something.
A little bit of balance.
It's like I just don't. It's like
why we got floppy dicks during an orgy?
Yeah. I didn't notice that. I don't.
You didn't notice the giant wieners they kept putting in the camera?
It wasn't.
They're like zooming in on.
I didn't like look too deeply into whether they were hard or not. So
you just don't need
how deeply. They actually can't do that, or else it's porn. That's why they're not.
Rigor mortis.
That's ridiculous, by the way. So then there's the conversation with Jon Stewart and Grandma, and
these two are cooking.
At this point, I'm doing my watch party. I'm like, it's just kind of boring. And then half the chat had seen it before I did, so they're like, just wait, just here it comes.
I'm pretty sure that with this scene, it means that the show fails the race Bechdel test of diversity talking to each other, not about a white man. I think every single time it's happened in the show, it's been about a white guy.
Yep.
Oh, the Bechdel test. So, she asked, basically, he asked why, hey, I wouldn't have screwed you if I knew you were married, but why are you with them? And she says, well, white men can afford to be eccentric. Yeah. They have the privilege of being eccentric, because we don't have something like Michael Jackson. We didn't have something like Michael Jackson, R.I.P. Yeah. and Prince, anybody else. And then she asks him, like, who's your white man? Now, we can't show the clip because we'll get hit. I'd rather keep our chat up, to be honest with you.
She doubles down on the white thing, because then she goes, and rich white men can basically do whatever they want. All this privilege, plus, and so they're doubling down on the whole.
Well, also, I can imagine the rich white man, Damon Lindelof, going, oh, man, this was just, I'm so
the
good.
other part
of
this, because this is where the writers' heads are at, because this is what they're obsessed with. John goes like, I'm sorry about sleeping with you. I didn't know you're married. Like, y'all like got an arrangement or something? She's like, yeah, it's cool. We can just do whatever I want. I'm like, why did you have to explain that? Who gives a fuck? But they're like, and then it leads into, well, my husband can just fuck whoever he wants because he's a white man. And you're like, I don't think that's not how that works. Yeah. He's like, and then because he's a rich white man, he can definitely do whatever he wants. I'm like, also, which is not really how that works, but okay. And then goes, I'm only with him because it gives me access. So I just go around and like fuck whoever I want and keep the access that I get for my husband being rich. Somebody sat down in a writer's room with multiple people and
got paid.
Wrote this shit out, and they went, "That's good. You should put that in this television show." And then James motherfucking Gunn sat down and they pitched this shit to him, and he went, "Yeah, I love it when people rail my wife. Put it in the show."
Representation.
What the fuck are we doing? And you got people trying to defend this fucking show.
Well, and there are people that like, well, that's a girl boss. They're like, you go, girl. You're so empowered, everything like that. Which is a cheating, manipulative, opportunistic hag that is just an awful person. But they're writing these characters. They like these type of people, and everyone else.
That's what they understand.
Exactly. I was looking at them and like, these are terrible, awful people that are loathsome and spiteful, and you just hate them. But the disconnect in reality is astounding to me.
Well, I think Mike, you respond to somebody on Twitter basically glazing Watchmen, basically calling people low IQ. It's like, come on.
Oh, you mean the guy that works for
hang on a second. Ryan, you were going to say something?
I was just going to say,
bring that
to be fair, I think one of the most, like, the thing I've heard said about that character the most is that people think she's a manhunter. Do you know what I mean? So I actually think most people are not looking at that as, wow, slay queen. I think most people are looking at this character as, yeah, she's probably the villain.
Well, and what she was, when you get rid of all that dumb shit they said, the actual context of the conversation is, what's up with your fucking husband and all the militia members and his focus on aliens? And her saying, well, you know, you could be eccentric and play cowboys. And she just dismisses it as him being eccentric, which is kind of covering for their actual existence.
Right, going to be a JD Vance, Usha Vance allegory.
Oh yeah, I mean
that's where my money is. He's going to be a JD Vance.
What does that mean though? What is it going to be when he's JD Vance? Like,
okay, so JD Vance has a benefactor with Peter Thiel in his background. So that's the setup with this guy. And then the fact that it's an ICE allegory, it's the immigration allegory that's clearly associated with this character. They're framing him to be a bad guy, white guy's evil, and he's married to an Indian woman who doesn't respect him.
Let's protect Earth from anybody that's not born here. You know that.
Exactly. The issue with that, though, is that everything we've seen of the aliens prove that they are evil and just willing to blow up entire towns. So he is entirely justified to try and protect Earth from them.
Yeah, yeah.
Why?
That's the problem with Hollywood now is they write shit where you're like, I agree with the villain.
The issue we had with House of the Dragon is like, there's one thing being presented on screen, and then we know what the writers think, and especially when they tell us, particularly with season 1, that's almost contradictory to what you see on screen sometimes, and you're like, you really think that? And they do. Yeah. So.
I was just going to say, this exposes their ideology so much when the writers are ideologues like this, whereas like you have to sympathize with the criminal, right? And because of that, that's their view. They translate it into the story and they make the criminals do legitimately evil things. But from their mind, you have to empathize and sympathize with them. When anyone with a rational brain is like, no, they're criminals. And these ones genocidal, murdering psychopaths potentially, and we're like, no. You should be concerned about these aliens coming in, but they don't see it that way because they don't see it that way in the real world, and that's fully brain rotted into the story, 100% from the real world. And you saw it.
You saw it with John when he was kidnapped. They said there's no reason to blow up Nebraska. Not we don't want to. They were more than willing to, and John trusts them more than he does Hal, because even like, are you sure you can trust him? More than I can trust you that kidnapped me, hit me with a car, and then started essentially torturing me with some kind of mind prison.
And we saw what the Manhunters did, but we have no idea what they did.
Yeah,
we just heard
if you're going to do that,
saw how it feels.
Can you see it about 20 times?
I know.
In 3 minutes?
I know. So towards the end, Jon Stewart comes back and tells Hal everything and asks him about Manhunters. And he's all, that's above your pay grade, Junior. But he also brings back his costume. So he brings back the lantern.
I really wish he called him boy the entire time.
Yeah.
That would make this show so much more enjoyable.
Pay grade, boy.
That's what he means. And then at the end, Hal puts on his costume and like it doesn't look good. The costume doesn't look good. And the DCU costumes like look terrible. They're all designed terribly.
Signed at the last minute, literally.
Yeah. So he flies off to Oa, and we get to see Sinestro, who's the bad guy from Banshee, which is great.
Looked pretty
show.
empty there.
Awesome show.
Yeah, it looked.
It looked like a convention center in like St. Louis or something. Like they
when nobody was
did not
working.
do a whole lot.
But yeah, like, and maybe that's.
I was expecting like a janitor in the back.
And I don't know whether to take that as where is everyone else, or to take that as he's specifically going here when no one's going to be there, like to get this one-on-one time, or if it was just budget constraints. Who knows? But something I thought about while I was watching that seems rather empty here.
We get the oath or this one, and Hal like could not be fucking bothered, which is the writers could not be fucking bothered. So he gets his lantern, he's just like bright as day, black.
Gotta say the
brushes through it,
words.
fucking mumbles the shit, and like, God, if that lantern had a personality, it'd be like, get the fuck out of here, bro. Like, I'm not charging this shit for you.
It would be
But yeah,
great in
like,
that scene.
Bryce
in that
saying Black
scene, right?
Knight, don't even get my side, but yeah, like he just went as fast as he could through it just to charge his shit.
To show that Hal Jordan is not a piece of shit. The whole first episode, we see that he's kind of like run down. He's old. And he's kind of giving up on all that stuff, or whatever. But in this moment, he does care. He does have the oath in his heart, and he says it like with fucking meaning. That would be awesome.
I
but no, they
explained
kind of
this-
just like,
I-
yeah.
I had mentioned this yesterday. Like, we kind of saw a moment like that in Night of the Seven Kingdoms, where Baratheon is like, he's like a party boy and everything like that.
Yeah.
When it comes time to get to work and he knights that dude, they treat that like a serious fucking moment, dude. And it's awesome. And I was like, this dude's a fucking knight. Like, this is what they do, and so you have a moment there to like give Hal his flowers and go like, he still believes in this shit. He's just jaded about everything and he's tired. And you even have a chance to like remind John, like, fuck, this is Hal Jordan. No, none of that. He can't even be fucking bothered.
No,
with
he's
it.
a washed up loser.
But it means nothing though. We're already seeing from episode 1 to 2 the mystery boxing of Green Lantern things. It means nothing. In episode 1, it's established he doesn't have his lantern. He doesn't have the power battery, and it's set up as if it's going to be an important thing. Well, why doesn't he? Why isn't he backing up 10 years back up his consciousness? And why are these things happening? Well, in episode 2, it turns out he's deliberately not carrying the power battery for a plot device reason so that we could send John to go get it in episode 2.
Mm-hmm.
It means absolutely nothing to the plot.
On top of that, it's
Like,
it's retarded. He still relies on the ring and uses the ring, and so he would be taking that battery with him wherever he goes, so he can charge it. The fact that he left it behind is such a stupid thing for the character world that is not justified. But you're right, Wizard. The only reason they did it is because they needed a plot point, and that's such low tier retarded writing that should not be forgiven. Like, it's inexcusable how amateur and bullcrap that is. Right?
Well, if you're not fucking retarded, which these writers are, as we've established many times before, instead of writing about like whether or not this lady can get railed by other people and her husband's okay with it, you put a section in there where he goes, I don't bring the lantern because I usually know how much juice this thing has. I don't need to worry about it, and I used it all up stopping a bomb from killing everyone. You could have just said, hey, this guy knows his shit and he doesn't bring it. He didn't want to be bothered, but he kind of knows how much this is a veteran at work doing his thing. And he got put in a bad spot, and he goes, I need the lantern now, and I normally don't
And let's
need
keep
it.
in mind, while he didn't have his ring, he got shot, and he seems fine. He seems fine now.
Well, they explain that, remember? They go clean through. I'm like, that's not how bullet wounds work. It going clean through that's not how that works. It just means it's not going to get infected. Maybe. But they're like, no, he's fine. Don't stop fucking worrying about it, dude. Like,
you would be able to lift your arm. The bruising and damage just from
he straight up does what The Rock does in like the Fast and Furious franchise. He just goes like, Daddy's got to go to work, and just takes the shit off.
So
that's exactly.
So there's a quick conversation not even a conversation, a couple of questions with Sinestro that we'll find out next week, and the most information we got was from a clip that's coming up that's going to point out that Jon Stewart was chosen by the Guardians, and he is there to replace Hal Jordan. And the mystery is why. What do we have here, Garrett?
Just a shill, an absolute confirmed shill. He works for DC. He's a
DC,
host on one of their shows.
Yep.
He thinks it's so good,
Watchmen
guys.
levels of greatness.
It's so good.
Well, we can agree it's a lot like Watchmen. I agree with them there.
Lube Man cameo. Like, you know what? I'd have more respect for him if Lube Man showed up in this show. Like, at least, you're kind of keeping it consistent, but yeah, dude, Watchmen levels of greatness, bro.
Well, this is also the same guy that spoke about the monosyllabic the monosyllabic whatever.
Isn't this supposed to be? Hold on, isn't this supposed to be your fucking thing? Your mastery of the English language? Your syllable. You talk shit about me because you have extra U's in your fucking words.
Yeah, this is the retard who was glazing Watchmen, basically calling everyone retards who didn't like it, saying they didn't get it and they're low IQ. Fuck this guy. He's a retard.
Mm-hmm.
He's paid. Literally.
He's paid. He's an idiot. He's a cuck. Like,
He was very upset Supergirl failed too.
Oh no!
I bet he
How
was.
awful.
Whose fault was that?
And this
was a
is one
narrative
of
that
one of
started
those
with this show.
the YouTube creators that like got in. You know, they were shilling hard. They were spinning. They were busting their ass being a fan for 5 years, and then DC came down and bestowed them with a paycheck officially and gave them a show. So.
Yeah, he shits on fans
I trust
like
your
a lot.
opinion.
He shits on fans a lot.
Start polishing those Emmys.
Monosyllabic.
Yeah.
It's just depressing. This is yet another beloved property that the lore and the characters shine on their own. And much like Halo on Paramount that we all collectively blocked out, it's a bunch of people that don't know anything about it except they've heard Halo, and then they watch it and they go, oh, this is what you guys were all... Like, no, this is not Lanterns. And yet again, we've reset the cultural clock on if I'm ever going to get an accurate adaptation of these probably never.
Probably not.
Yeah.
Probably never.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, and also that same fucking guy was like going out about fans going, did he say? I have the tweet. He goes, I've never met a single person whose opinion I respected who didn't appreciate the Watchmen show.
Yeah.
Like, what the fuck are you talking about? Nobody liked that fucking show. Like, what? So
the show was ass.
So basically, you only talk to Damon Lindelof, who's like constantly jerking himself off and pretending he liked his own show. Like, dude.
Yeah, all he's doing there is admitting it's basically political. He liked the show because of the politics in it. All the critics liked it because of the politics. So if you don't like the show, it means you've essentially saying you're not part of the tribe. You're not being one of them. And so why would he respect your opinion?
Watchmen, which is a terrible show.
Yes.
Utterly terrible show. Received a total of 26 Primetime Emmy nominations and won 11.
What?
Yes.
Holy
and
shit.
it was all because it was released right around that Summer of Love, right around that time. And it was completely political. And Damon Lindelof knows this. This is why he leaned into it. This white man, I could extrapolate on that for Rumble, but we won't. This white man went out and opportunized the fucking situation and fluffed it up a little bit in the show, knowing that he would win a bunch of awards and get a bunch of accolades. He put the Tulsa Massacre in there, and then again, it was complete fiction what he put in, particularly because they were all mind controlled, which I would say takes away from the Tulsa Massacre. But he was so proud of himself for introducing so many people to the Tulsa Massacre. Yeah, he was just like, oh, I'm just...
And race
every time. I don't know how he writes because he's got one hand patting himself on the back the whole time.
Yeah.
There was an article...
Doing something else.
He was talking about one Damon Lindelof. So whether he was just saying it to grift or he really does, I think he really does have white guilt. But he was saying he was driving down Hollywood Boulevard and he was looking at all the billboards, and all the billboards were only white people. And so that led, and then cut to him writing Watchmen, and cut to him now, John, who's already a beloved character, but will now literally be made the fucking chosen one, chosen as a baby. So it's on purpose. Complete subversion.
There's lots of interviews from Damon Lindelof and that loads of them start like, well, as one white man talking to another white man, I understand the importance of Watchmen. But he also talks about how Ta-Nehisi Coates' book, The Case for Reparations, was his red pill awakening moment. And that was when it sort of basically changed his entire worldview. This is just a guy that got one shot by a book and lost his mind.
Ta-Nehisi Coates,
indoctrinated.
The guy that
Superman coming out
was going to be writing Superman.
Yeah. Well, and on top of that, the only shame or guilt that these people in the left feel is basically like white guilt, being who they were born, and it's pretty fucked up.
Yeah. Well, also keep in mind they live in like massive like wealth and opulence and go to these parties. Literally one of these fucking parties, and they have like more money and like more cash, like the prizes and these fucking swag bags and shit that anybody would ever have. They don't donate that shit to the poor. They keep all that shit.
Damon
They sell it.
Lindelof's net worth is $35 million.
$35 million. Imagine you're driving down the road with $35 million. You go, I hate that these billboards are all white people. You go home and write a fucking show and get a contract for it. Yeah. Look what I did for all these black folk. I feel so good about myself. Yeah. Go fuck
Look at all the
yourself.
good I do.
Cases,
Look at all the good I do.
Mm-hmm. These are the same
so
fucking
don't
people.
burn my house down.
Yeah.
I'm on your side.
I'm on
Yeah,
your
they
side.
can't.
Go to the
They
other
live in
poor's
gated
neighborhood.
communities, Gary.
Yes.
Nobody's getting in there. They have
private
armed
security.
guards at the gate.
Exactly.
They will shoot those people if they try to get inside, and they'll be happy about it. They're like, "Thank you for protecting us." Like these people are fucking wild. These are the same people that sat in their houses in 2020 when everybody was locked in their home singing, "Imagine there's no heaven."
Oh God.
And they were
Easy.
hosting the governors and the
This is
mayors.
the
I
same-
take
They're
responsibility.
fucking praising Madonna for taking milk baths. Like fucking Ellen DeGeneres goes, "I just swam 18 laps in my pool and played tennis twice, and I don't know what to fucking do with myself."
Yep.
These are those same fucking people trying to lecture people about I gotta help elevate people and elevate the minorities in the world. Get the
Let
fuck
them
out of here.
I take responsibility.
I take responsibility.
I take responsibility.
So that's over. We got episode 3, and it's boring. It's mostly just boring.
Yeah.
It is one of the most boring shows. It is tough to get through.
It's boring on 2 times speed.
Boring and occasionally
I
insulting.
keep hoping. I keep hoping they'll just drop all the episodes at some point.
Nerdrotic.com. Please subscribe.